Yes, hello everyone and welcome to all our West Australian football fans to another edition of Around the WAFL, the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. We're in full swing in September. The semi-finals are done and dusted, and now we look forward to Sunday's preliminary finals south of the river between Peel Thunder and Subiaco. Plus more on today's edition. You're live on the BackChat YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. We have socials in operation, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Give us a big thumbs up. We really do appreciate it. Paul Persick with you alongside Mark Foreman. Forey, finals action in full swing. The road to the grand final is drawing to its end.
Almost there, Paul. Hello. Yep, good to be back, and a cracking weekend of footy. And well, we've only got one left before we know, who's going to be fighting out to take the prize.
Absolutely. But before we do get into the finals action, Monday night, the Sandover medal count over at the Crown Ballroom. A huge congratulations goes to Hammer. Hamish Brayshaw, winner of the Sandover medal on Monday night. Great end to the season for Hammer and East Perth. Even though they had to settle for fourth place, they were able to get Hammer and their leading players to poll plenty of votes. Hammer, in fact, polled 12 of the 18 games, and half of them were best on the grounds. He won by 7 votes ahead of Luke Meadows.
Yeah, it was a bit of a runaway. Popular man around these traps.
Yeah.
And look, from all accounts, like from everything you hear, people speaking about him, a very popular winner too. So deserved. Popular and it was cool to watch.
First Royal since Ryan Turnbull in 2001 to win it, so a long time between drinks for the Royals.
Yeah, there's a blast from the past.
Absolutely, an icon of WA football like Hammer, Ryan Turnbull, premiership player with the Eagles, and a Sandover medal late in his career.
Yeah, and look, you don't underestimate the prestige of the Sandover medal. It's still held in such high regard, and you saw some of the names and the faces at the function on Monday night, and it just goes to show how important it still is for WA footy.
Huge congrats to Hamish Brayshaw, the winner of the 2023 Sandover medal. Now, the preliminary final on Sunday in Mandurah, just to remind you, is live, free and in full on the AFL app. Peel Thunder taking on Subiaco. You're with Around the WAFL, the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. Now, for WAFL fans all around WA, there is the ultimate fan experience that is up for grabs for the WAFL Grand Final. Now, listeners and viewers, there is just a simple task that you have to do. Purchase a WAFL Grand Final ticket and enter the code BackChat at the Ticketmaster checkout, wherever you're purchasing, whether it be online or at the gate, and you'll be in the running for the ultimate fan experience.
You're joking?
No, I'm not kidding.
That's all you have to do?
It's absolutely.
What? Why aren't we doing it now? No, it's that's unreal, because I'm pretty sure. Have you ever tossed the coin before a big game?
Never.
Is that not? That's not a. I think that's a part.
That is a prize. That is a prize.
How
you will
good
get
is
to toss
that?
the coin. Absolutely, it is sensational. You get to toss the coin at Optus Stadium, receive a grand final match day ball, and a professional photos with the captains at Optus Stadium.
Yes. See, these are the things we need in our lives.
Absolutely.
So what is it? You type in the little BackChat.
Type in BackChat at the Ticketmaster checkout, purchasing online, and you'll be in the running for the ultimate WAFL fan experience on Grand Final Day. Now, East Fremantle, they're the first team through to the grand final after what was an hysterical second semi-final against Peel Thunder over at Fremantle Oval. I'll tell you what, it is so good to see East Fremantle, a team that were bereft of success 25 years after their last premiership, to make it through to the big dance.
Oh, huge for them. And we spoke with Matty Jupp last week, which was, so exciting. And that you could just hear in his voice, they couldn't wait to get into it after a little bit of time off with that break, and they came out firing. But yeah, what a game!
Certainly was.
Yeah, you can't rule out Peel's credentials. They're a big chance, but East Fremantle, they're through, which is exciting for them.
And one of their stars that really was a key in that second semi-final on Saturday. He's come from South Australia and has had a ripper season here in WA. His name is Fraser Turner, and he joins us here on the show. Fraser, hello, mate. Welcome to the show.
Morning, boys. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on, Fraser. How does it feel now to be the first Sharks side in 11 years to make the big dance after a game like that?
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, this is my first year coming across, so I haven't experienced too much pain as some of the other boys have, like not making finals too much, but certainly learned a lot about the history, and I'm aware that, it's a bit of a drought since we last made it. So, it's awesome to know that we're in, and just really enjoy the next couple of weeks.
Fraser, Mark Foreman here. You just mentioned there that you've just come across to East Fremantle. What was behind that decision to come across to WA?
Yeah, so I spent the last couple of years in the Sandful, and I enjoyed my time there, but I felt like the WAFL would probably suit my game a little bit more, and I've been speaking to Brad Dodd a fair bit over the last couple of years, and he's been really good to me, and he brought me over a couple of times last year to watch East Freo play, and I just really enjoyed the way that they played, and the way they moved the footy, and I also knew Luke English from being at Richmond together, so that was a big factor in moving over, and a big influence on my decision as well.
You knew Luke English, you said. How long did you play alongside Luke English at Richmond?
So we both got drafted in 2018, so we were on the list together in 2019 and 2020, and then both fell off the list at the same time, and he obviously moved to East after that, and that's when I went to the Stanford, and then eventually we just linked back up this year, which has been really good.
Tell me about grand finals, Fraser. It's the best time of year. In fact, it's the best time of footy, really. Have you played in many in your life?
Played in 3, so one in under 18s in Tassie, and then a reserve in Tassie as well when I was younger, and then in 2019 was lucky enough to win the VFL Premiership with Luke as well. So played in 3, and definitely don't take any of them for granted. You sort of hear when boys win one, they say that they just want to taste it again, and I'm the exact same. So just to get back there is really exciting, and hopefully we can get the win.
I know that probably the straight answer will be no, I don't do anything different. But leading up to a grand final, it's clearly a different feeling. It's why you play the game. How do you feel heading into? Obviously, you've got another week to wait, but do you do anything differently, or how will you go about it?
Well, pretty much it's just I know that a lot of boys say that it's just another game, but it is a grand final. But I think you've just got to do what you usually do and prepare as you usually would. So I won't be doing anything different, and the lead up for us as a team is just business as usual as well. We'll just prepare as we usually do for any other game.
We'll just quickly go back to the second semi-final on Saturday. Peel, they were coming at you in that last quarter, and with 10 minutes to go, Peel, they were about 8 points behind you. What were the nerves like and the tension all around the ground in the last 10 minutes?
It was pretty tense. Definitely a bit nerve-wracking, and a long quarter as well. I think it was 34 minutes or something. So I thought we held up really well. We're obviously under the pump a lot. I'm not sure how many inside 50s they had, but to only concede 3 goals to the quarter, considering how much of the ball they had and the way they got it going their way, was a really good effort from our backmen, and all over the ground. There was a lot of messages coming out, and I think we were able to adapt to that reasonably well, and we're very happy to hold on.
Fraser, your Sharks are the first team through to the big dance. All the best for September 24. Congratulations as well on a sensational win. Thanks for your time, Fraser.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Fraser Turner from the East Fremantle Football Club. His first season in WAFL and his side's through to a grand final. I mean, you can't ask for a better first season in WA than that.
No, pretty handy, isn't it?
Ah.
And it's such a good time of year. Like it brings such. I mean, for me, it doesn't matter what level of footy you play at. Grand finals are why you play, and you can hear him there, the excitement. And I just like that little bit where he said, "Oh, look, everyone said, you got to treat it as another game, but it's not.
No, it isn't another game.
No,
at any level, a grand final could, you're part of history if you win one.
Yeah.
You lose one, you're scarred for life.
You are, to be honest. And it's cool that they, for him to acknowledge that. And, little things do happen differently during the week. Yeah. The AFL, you've got all the parades and things that go with it. Similar sort of thing in the WAFL. There's all the sort of pre-game rituals during the week to do. So exciting for him, and I can tell you're pumped up, aren't you, Paul?
Oh, no doubt. September 24, it's going to be something else
Yeah.
at Optus Stadium. This is Around the WAFL. You're with Paul Persick and Mark Foreman. And East Fremantle got there to the grand final with a thrilling 5-point win at Fremantle Oval over Peel Thunder. It was hysteria at the Port Forum. I mean, what a sensational game this one was. East Fremantle looked in control for much of that game. Final quarter then came around. Peel Thunder kicked 3 goals. but then 3 posters cost them dearly. But East Fremantle, what a side. Milan Murdoch back to his best. Let's start that off for you. 31 disposals in his return from injury.
He was great. Bit of a naughty boy too. I saw that he was charged by the match review panel, but the early plea will see him just with a reprimand.
Yep, so he'll play in the grand final.
He will. And we know his class. We saw him absolutely tear away at the start of the Sandover Medal, that first half of the year. So you can't mistake or doubt his class, which is there.
Considering that he'd been away for some time, after that injury in Geraldton.
Yeah, exactly right. And so he comes back in and he's a really important cog to their side. So certainly a player that, either, Subi or Peel will need to look at, depending on who makes the grand final. But he's critical to East Fremantle. And what a game. Like you said, 31 touches and got the ball moving inside 50, tackled well too.
He certainly did, as well as Fraser Turner, 8 marks along with his 29 disposals. He, like Murdoch, shows that polish and class in midfield, and Turner has adapted to the WAFL style very quickly across the season. And his 29 disposals and the way he was able to deliver up forward was so crucial in East Fremantle's controlling of the first half.
Yeah, and in finals, those players that you just mentioned, those type of players that you mentioned are just so important. When you can hit a target, show a bit of poise, show the class, it's invaluable. And particularly when they were under siege, they showed how important they are to East Fremantle's charge.
What about Peel Thunder? Their ruck duo was sensational. Liam Reedy and Riley Smith, 60 hitouts combined.
Yeah.
They led the charge while battling East Fremantle's Ruben Maguire, and their midfield again just backed them up all the way. Will Brodie with 27 disposals and Carl Warner with 18 and 9, but their goal kicking again does come into question ahead of that preliminary final.
Yeah, no, look, the rucks were good. I was surprised that we didn't see Hugh Dixon, probably swung there a little more after that they started to dominate. But, it is what it is. And fortunately, they got out of it anyway, East Fremantle. But, look, this is such an example of missed opportunity for Peel. You mentioned those posters in the last quarter. They were just surging. We heard Fraser Turner tell us as well, just before that they were under siege. And I couldn't believe it when I saw some of the stats and, some of the gameplay in that last quarter. They had their chances, Peel.
They certainly did in the last 10 minutes. And that's another testament to the Sharks' backline as to why they were a huge difference, not in that game, but also the entire season. Not just in that game, but also the entire season. Cam Erdley, Matty Jupp, sensational. 12 marks between them, and they'll be the ones to watch out for whoever they play in the grand final. East Fremantle through their first grand final in 11 years, and they'll be looking toward their first flag since 1998. This is Around the Waffle. Paul Persick and Mark Vorman. Now we go to the first semi-final, and one of the keys for Subiaco that day was Stefan Giro. He had 28 disposals and 6 marks, and Subiaco through to the preliminary final on Sunday. And even better, Stefan Giro is good enough to join us here on Around the Waffle. Stefan, g'day, mate.
Hey, Tom, how you going?
Going very well. Great to have you on the show. Your guys took control right from the outset against the Tigers at Leederville Oval, and now you've got one more win to make another grand final.
Yeah, we had a pretty good win on the weekend, which was good. Obviously, turned our form around from the final against Peel. I thought we still played some good footy against Peel as well. So if we can keep up the way we're playing, hopefully we can get the win.
Stefan, a really impressive season from Subi. Has it perhaps been a case, well, not overachieving, but have you exceeded expectations this year? Because there were, many who perhaps didn't have Subi up as high as they are.
Yeah, we obviously didn't have a good season last year, but I thought with our pre-season that we had and we got a few guys in, I thought that, we could definitely climb the ladder again. But as the season went on, we sort of kept playing our roles and everyone was sticking to the system and we just kind of got better, I guess. I guess from the outside, it probably looks like we probably weren't meant to be as high as we are, but I guess internally we believed we could.
And as you mentioned there, as you kept winning and stuck to those systems, how important is belief in a run towards a flag?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think once we realised that we could beat pretty much most teams in the competition, and we did throughout the season, I guess that's sort of where the belief came from. And then we had a lot of big wins as well, and
you kind of realise that the system works, and if you stick to it and everyone plays their role, you get the reward. So, yeah, belief's a massive thing.
Your forward line was sensational throughout that afternoon. Ryan Borchett, the Kalgoorlie boy, tore it up with 3 goals. So did Ben Sokol, who got back into form. The forward line's coming into some very good form at the right time, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Those boys are great. They obviously make a contest in the air every time. Obviously hard to match up on both of them. So we've also got Luca Kentfield down there as well, who's young, and he's developing forward as well. So, yeah, we've got a good forward line at the moment. It's working.
What about Taj Schofield? Obviously, he was missing from that game. What's the prognosis on his point of view?
Yeah, so he's just had a minor hammy, so he will most likely be back playing, which is good. He's obviously a handy inclusion, so it'll be good to have Taj back in the side.
Well, congratulations to Subi on a sensational win, and congrats to you on your performance on Sunday as well. All the best in the preliminary final in Mandurah against Peel Thunder. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Stefan Giro, another former South Australian, of course, joining us on Around the Waffle. So a little bit of SA flavour on today's show, but they've both come into WA and have played some sensational footy since entering the WAFL.
And like Fraser said, it's nice that the Waffle can attract players of this calibre, and to entice them over to move over is Stefan as well, but Fraser said, specifically came over because it suited his game, things like that. It's really important to get these guys over to continue strengthening the comp.
Absolutely. This is Around the Waffle, the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. Let's review that first semi-final now. Even though Subiaco, they had a stinker in front of goal, 12-16, especially 5-10 at half-time, just the way they dominated the football and peppered the goals against the Claremont side, who were lacklustre on Sunday, was a testament to what Subiaco have achieved this year, and they continue their upward path towards another grand final.
28 scoring shots to 9.
Unbelievable.
That is crazy. 57 inside 50s to 33. So, look, in the end, the score probably did reflect, but it didn't reflect right until the end of the fourth quarter. Three-quarter time, I think it was a 6-point lead. So, to Subi. So, this is well, it's funny. Like, it's kind of a get out of jail card. Like, we saw what Peel saw what happened when you don't kick straight in finals. And Subi probably would have had that little, demon on the shoulder at 3/4 time saying, my God, we're 7-13 and we could be in trouble here.
And something Bo Wardman must have instilled in the players, that belief to the players was like, okay, 7-13, Claremont have come back. We need to fire up in the last quarter, and that's exactly what they did.
And that's what I loved about. I'd love to hear from Stefan Giro is that that they perhaps weren't expected to be this high at the start of the year, but they continued winning and they built that belief. And it's funny what belief can do, because something like that at 3/4 time might, when you've missed opportunities and you're up against it, something like that could quite easily get into your mind of a team, but not Subi, and they showed some steely resolve and dominated that last quarter.
On the other side of the coin, Claremont, I think it was their worst performance at the worst time.
Yeah.
Especially when, because you said it last week, they were still very confusing, with the way that they had been playing in the lead up to the finals, and then that great elimination final win against the Royals, against the odds a little bit, considering when you had Oliver Eastland dominating, Jai Bolton, he was held well, only the 13 touches in the battle with Jamin alone. There was a lot of aggro out there, a little bit of tagging going on from On Alone's part, which was quite crucial. It wasn't their best game at all, and I reckon Claremont will have a little bit of soul-searching to do heading into the 2024 season, because it was a good recovery from them from the grand final last year to get to a semi-final, but they could have gone much deeper into September following that elimination final win.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we sort of saw them. We saw what they could do in that elimination final. And so they were almost an unknown quantity. But that job from Jaimin alone was, that was critical. To hold a Sandover medalist to 13 touches in a in a final is just, that's awesome. And he had 17 himself, but that was obviously his role, and finals are about playing roles. And certainly Jaimin alone did his. That's something that I guess the best players have to work through, because they will get the attention. And I'm not surprised to have heard a little bit of beef come out of that one, but well done to Subi. It's they put their plans in place and they've executed well, and they held. Yeah, Claremont was yeah, just held. That's what happened, and subsequently out of the race. But Subi showed us why their credentials are as good as any.
Absolutely. Claremont season over. Subiaco season goes on. They're through to Sunday's preliminary final against Peel Thunder, which, by the way, you can see live, free, and in full on the AFL app if you cannot make the game. Don't fret. The AFL app is your place for WAFL League action in 2023. This is Around the Waffle. You're with Paul Persick and Mark Foreman. Now, let's look ahead to Sunday's preliminary final. What a ripper game that one is going to be. South of the river in Mandurah, Lane Group Stadium on Sunday at 2:10. It's also live, by the way, on Channel 7. They met a couple of weeks ago, qualifying final, wet conditions. It's going to be a little bit different on Sunday in Mandurah. No second chances for Peel and Subi.
No, and excited for this one. I've loved what Peel has done over the last month or two. They've just been building. And of course, I think they had 11 AFL listed on the weekend, and
That's right.
the maximum that's allowed. And they'll have the same again. And I'm pretty sure, Paul, that I picked them last week.
You did pick.
And I'm pretty sure, Paul, that you did not.
I did not.
Just had to throw that in there.
I picked I picked Claremont last week, and I ended up looking like a ham again, which is always expected. But I may remind you, I picked East Fremantle, and you picked Peel, so I got one back on you. Thank you.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, you should, mate. Come on.
No, you've made that up.
Let's go back to the game. Let's
Yeah.
go back to the game. Of course, both teams have had success on the road against each other as well. Of course, Peel Thunder beat Subi at Leederville, but Subi on the WA Day round beat Peel Thunder in Mandurah by 6 points. So they've got one up on each other, but of course, Peel, with that qualifying final win, take the ledger 2-1. But those records don't mean anything. I think the key, again, is going to be in the ruck. Zach Clark, but you've got Liam Reedy, and of course, Smith to contend with.
Yeah, I've seen Peel a couple of times this year, and super impressed with Liam Reedy, and will play a critical part. We've spoken about Zach Clark's impact all year, and that's going to be a key battle, but certainly one I think that the Peel boys are up for. I really like the work that they're putting together, and look, they had, how many scoring shots was it last week? They should have beaten. To be honest, I think they should have beaten East Fremantle.
Exactly.
And
They
so,
should have won it.
with the opportunities they created, it was so impressive. And the way they surged, like, I get it, you do need to finish off your opportunities, but it's only a matter of time before that happens. So I'm picking Peel.
You're picking Peel?
Yeah, I am. And I feel like that's probably a fitting grand final. That's no disrespect to Subi, who, I enjoy watching them play as well, and have had some affiliation with Subi. But I just like what Peel's putting together.
Yeah, that's not a bad call, Peel. They've put together some very good football, especially over the last month when they were still fighting for the double chance as well. Because remember, they just scraped in to the double chance at the expense of East Perth, but they've proven that they've deserved to be in that position. Forey, you'd think I'd learned by now after last week. I clearly have not. I'm going the other way. I'm going to say Subiaco over there in Mandurah, but expect this one to be a very tight game. These two sides are very evenly matched.
I can't see it being any other. I can't see it being a blowout. And I am genuinely really looking forward to having a look at this one, and certainly we'll be watching closely, ahead of the grand final to see, how they stack up, and particularly what they can both do to East Fremantle.
I think for Subiaco, from their point of view, their key will be their forward line. Again, after what they dished up in that first semi-final, Borchett and Sokol, 6 goals between them, and a couple of great marks from Ryan Borchett, just spectacular. When he's got the ball in that vicinity, he can create so many opportunities, and took a couple of ripper marks on Sunday at Leederville. Those two, along with Zach Clark, will go a long way to winning the game. You've gone Peel, I've gone with Subiaco, but I think football, either way, is going to be a big, big winner.
Yeah, football's the real winner.
Of course it is. It is every week. Come on.
I love
look at the turnout we had at the semi-finals.
Can I actually change my tip?
No.
No, I want to tip football.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair. Oh, Tommy, our producer's putting the thumbs down. I don't think he cares who plays East Fremantle. He's a Sharks man. He was going off on Saturday.
No, it will be a cracking game. Good for waffle footy, and look, the crowds have been really good during the finals. So let's hope that continues. Obviously, down in Mandurah, it might be a bit of a deterrent for some, but well worth making the trip.
Certainly is, Mandurah, a beautiful part of the state, and no doubt Lane Group Stadium's going to be red hot on Sunday for the preliminary final. This is Around the Waffle, the official podcast of the WAFL. And just before we wrap up, Forey, of course, results quickly in Colts and Reserves. The first semi-final on the Saturday. East Fremantle ended Subiaco season by 9 points. Very tense game. And Claremont, the first team through to the grand final after beating a very suspect Perth by 30 points at Leederville Oval. Then on the Reserve side, Subiaco ended East Fremantle season by some 15 points out at Fremantle Oval. And then Swan Districts, the first team through to the Reserves grand final, defeating West Perth by some 4 goals out at Leederville Oval. So that means in the Colts preliminary final, it'll be Perth and East Fremantle, who only met some 3 weeks ago in round 19. And then in the reserves, West Perth and Subiaco over at Lane Group Stadium in Mandurah. Huge day of football.
Oh, can't wait. It's are you down there?
Yes, I am going to be down there.
Yeah, what games are you calling?
Both the Colts and reserves.
There you go. And best time of year, like we spoke about, finals footy.
September.
And it even, it doesn't even matter the grade. Like, it's so cool to watch finals footy. Just the desperation and the joy. I saw some photos during the week of the Perth Football League, because a lot of grand finals happened over the weekend, and then the next one's, the league A-grade grand finals coming up. And just the euphoria on the faces is just awesome. So you'll expect to see a bit of that, and unfortunately, some shattered hearts. But that's footy, and we look forward to, grand final time and this time of year.
Absolutely. Forey, great job as always. I'll see you next week to preview the big dance.
Can't wait, Paul. Looking forward to it.
And we thank you, our listeners and viewers, on the BackChat YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast on the official podcast of the West Australian Football League. Next Wednesday, we'll not only review the preliminary final, but look forward to the big dance, which takes place September 24. It's back on the big stage at Optus Stadium. And by the way, tickets are still on sale now. Do not miss your opportunity to witness the grand final. Absolutely. We thank you very much for your company on today's edition of Around the Waffle. We look forward to your company next week when we preview the grand final. We'll see you then.